Tony did all the not the weapons. Tony did the hero programming in this game, so he coded Ratchet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's everything about Ratchet moving around and like all of the like pretty much everything Ratchet does except for the weapons effects themselves
Hey,
was Tony.
look, it's that Rocket movie, man.
What?
That's not a trademark of your
No,
design, like
it's
you
not at
mentioned.
all.
Interesting.
Wait until he does the ring stomp.
Okay, I look forward to it. Oh, I don't have the Magna Boots yet. Damn it. Yeah, the next set of questions is by Zayna number 15, and he asks, the first thing he asks, and this is interesting, why does Ratchet model look really different in this game? I don't think he does. I think it's the same model as 3, isn't it?
It's the same head, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, obviously the build's probably a little bit different because of the suit, but
Yeah, the suit proportions are very different than Ratchet's proportions. So
oh look,
he
ring
does,
stomp.
plus he's got the helmet, right? So it is in essentially a new character.
Yeah.
Like we built a whole new model for Ratchet, so he's not wrong.
Okay, fair
Uh,
enough.
the main thing was we wanted to like since we were telling a more serious story, we didn't want to have a floppy tail and a
Right.
floppy ears and like it seemed weird to have a cartoon character in
Damn.
a death game. It's essentially Logan's Run or whatever. Not
Hmm.
what was that Schwarzenegger one
Um. Oh.
where he's in like a death game and he has to escape.
I cannot remember, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that movie. Oh, I'll remember it in a second when I don't need it anymore. But yeah, the idea was like that, right? Even with the collars, right, that explode and kill you if you try to leave.
Hmm.
Like it was supposed to be in that vein, really sort of an homage there, and it
Right.
felt weird to have a cartoon character in the middle of it.
Fair enough.
But we didn't want it not to be Ratchet, right?
Yeah.
And then Sony felt it was really important that we show his head in the cutscenes, especially for Japan.
Yes. Oh, actually, that's one thing I haven't talked about or shown. Please talk about the awesome animation that you added for the Japanese version.
Yeah. Okay. You'll cut to it, right? While I'm
Oh,
talking.
of course, yes. I will.
Okay. So in the Japanese version of Ratchet, so the way this always worked was we'd finish the U.S. and UK/Europe versions at the same time, and then after those were gold, and everybody took a little break, we would do the Japanese version to release a couple months later, right? So we would do all the localization and everything. And one of the things that Sony Japan requested was an epic Power Rangers style transformation sequence for Ratchet to use every time he goes into the armor, because apparently what's really popular over there is the characters will strike a pose and then the kids will strike the pose like the character, like they really like that. So like Ultraman's pose, or if you think of the thing the Power Rangers do before they transform, and then they have that really long exaggerated sequence with crazy music and like martial arts moves. So they sent us a video like with a bunch of like make it sort of like this and like this and like this, and then one of our animators went and made that, and it was so awesome. And so that, yeah, in the Japanese version, every time in the story he goes and puts the helmet back on, he does the crazy gesture, the helmet folds back around his head, and the guitar music starts playing while he starts punching, and then there's a whole bunch of poses in there that people can replicate is the idea. Like even with the first 3 Ratchet games, when they did the advertising in Japan, they had someone in a Ratchet suit, and he had a move he would make with his arm, and he would say in Japanese, "I can fix it," or "I can do it," or something like that.
Right.
And that was his catchphrase and movement for the advertising. And then we made sort of a new one for this game.
Fair enough. Doesn't he also have really big eyebrows?
In Japan, yeah, for some reason they wanted his eyebrows to be huge.
Yeah, I'm not overly sure why that is, but
Well, with Spyro, it was worse. On Spyro, they had to change a ton of characters.
yeah, they did. Fun
and
fact: Spyro's called Ripto in Japan.
Well, that's what the letter looks. That's what the Japanese letters look like. That's why they
Yeah.
named him Ripto in Spyro 2.
Yeah. And I
because
wonder if that inspired the boss name in Spyro 2 in the end.
yes, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, Brian Hastings was the guy who did that boss battle, and so uh, when they were picking the boss for Spyro 2, they noticed that the word Spyro looked like Ripto in Japanese, so they named the bad guy Dragon Ripto.
I would love to talk to Brian about Spyro 2 one day.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
I
trying to
love
get in
that
touch with him.
game. I wonder if when did they find out about the double jump glitch? Because you can basically double jump anywhere. I wonder when they found out about it. Because I mean, it's not present in Spyro 3, so presumably it was between Spyro 2 and 3.
That
Maybe,
must have been.
maybe they knew it before launch, but they just couldn't fix it in time.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because like you can literally break anything. It's amazing.
I didn't start till Ratchet 1.
Yeah, I know. The game is beatable in TAS standards in 7.5 minutes.
Oh wow,
It's amazing. Like you can skip everything in the game pretty much. It's awesome.
that's like Myst.
It's so cool to watch. Like you can just jump off enemies and fly into the sky and just it's awesome. The
I think
things
you
that
can
people
beat
find.
Myst 1 in something like 90 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not even a cheat. It's just knowing, like having played the game once.
That's impressive. I mean it's a cheat technically, but I mean with Pokemon like games, I think the original Red and Blue, you can do it in like 2 seconds by like doing different things on the menu, and then it just glitches out and you end up in the credits. It's just like, okay, what? What? How? Why?
I guess I win.
How did you find this out? Like you have to do a bunch of things before the game actually starts. You get like 100 rare candies and master balls, and then you can do whatever. It's just like, but why? How is this? How did you find this?
I was going to tell you about the changes for Japan on Spyro.
Oh yeah.
He originally had 4 toes. So
Really?
for Japan, they changed it so that he had 5 because in I guess there's a tradition or superstition or something against 4 fingers,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and the number 4 is unlucky or something. So that's why in Ratchet, every character in the game either has 5 or 3 fingers.
I think it's
There
something to do with the Yakuza actually.
Yeah, there's a Yakuza thing. I think there's also a superstition.
Oh, okay.
It basically, there's a lot of reasons why they don't want 4-fingered characters, except from Disney for some reason.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, so all of the models had to be changed to have 5 fingers in Spyro. So when we did Ratchet, everything was 3 or 5,
Right.
so that we wouldn't have to change it.
Fair
So we had to do a lot fewer changes to get Ratchet over there than we did with Spyro.
enough.
That was back in the day when Japan was a bigger market than the US was.
Yeah.
So like, if you could get your game successful in Japan and the United States, like that was how you made a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And Crash was the only American game that ever did that.
Really, Spyro wasn't that popular?
No, and then Ratchet did it
Oh, fair enough.
for the first 3. I don't know if Deadlock did it, but it was successful enough in Japan that it turned the game so really successful. So we were willing to do a lot of changes. Like in Ratchet 3, we had to slow the camera rotation down in some areas because it would make people sick. And
Really?
like there's just, yeah, I guess there's some kind of sensitivity to camera motion that's more common over there. I'm not sure what the deal is, but Sony Japan would request that we would tone down certain areas when they would detect that it was within the range of making people sick.
Oh, interesting.
And then, well, you remember there was a Pokemon cartoon that gave a bunch of people seizures?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's laws in Japan about like doing things that could prompt that and needing to have warnings and everything. So we needed to get everything within the acceptable range. So that was another thing that we'd change for Japan.
Right. There was also an episode of Pokemon where James had breasts for reasons. So, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm not even joking. There was like a competition, and James just gained breasts. It was really weird. I don't question it. that's
The TV show?
yeah, the TV show. It was, oh, why did you stop? Okay. That was terrifying. Don't do that again. Another question from Zena. I feel like this is a bit of a subjective question. Why were the weapons in this game quite dull? I guess that's kind of subjective. I quite like some of the weapons, like the Mega Silencer that I'm destroying everything with right now. It's quite fun.
Well, if he's not liking what I think he's not liking, it's probably because of what I was talking about earlier, where we took out a lot of the weapon behavior changes and stuff from the leveling up process and put them in the mods.
Yeah,
So the basic weapons aren't actually that exciting, right? Because the exciting parts we put in the mods. But what happens is if like, because the player can choose which mods to use, and the player will choose which mods are most, like, they're the best combat advantages, right? It ended up making the weapons feel like they were doing less different things than they were in the first three games. So that's probably what he's picking up on. We were trying to put more variety in the mods, and as such, sort of stripped them out of the base weapons, and that might have caused that.
Fair enough.
But for anybody who liked the customization stuff, that probably wasn't a factor, right?
Yeah. I've actually just switched the morph mod.
What?
I've just put on the morph mod for the Rhino. Because
they turned into chickens.
Apparently, according to my friend, it's actually loads of different animals. So we're gonna find out, I guess, providing it doesn't just destroy them. So we got a sheep, got another sheep. Might get something else in a bit. I don't know, but yeah, it changes them into different animals. We got a pig with horns and it's on fire. We got a duck. Like, it's super cool. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, Morpho mod.
But yeah, I mean, that in depth.
You know, otherwise there would have been a morph weapon.
Yeah.
Right? But this way, it made it so that you could put morph on all the weapons.
Yeah.
But that made the individual weapons themselves less distinct.
Yeah, that makes sense. This level's like the bane of my existence. I just struggle on the first mission so much. Don't know why, but
I don't remember this.
Next up, Random Gaming Bros asks, does Insomniac have any plans of making a sequel or a spiritual successor to this game, or maybe even adding on to what you've already said, maybe even they ever planned on making another racing game or racing type game at any point?
I don't know, right? I don't know what any of their plans are. I doubt that they'll make another game like Deadlocked, though, just because it was less well received than the ones that were more Tools or Ratchet 3. You know what they did take from Deadlocked that I liked, though, was mods on the weapons, right?
Yeah.
In Tools of Destruction, I thought they got it perfect, and Nexus did a good job too. Where
with the Raritanium.
The Raritanium and the little upgrade grids, like that was my favorite of the systems. And I don't know if that would have come about, because the same guy who did the mod systems in this game did that system in Tools of Destruction.
Ah, okay. Right. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Sean Whistler was his name. I went to high school with him.
Oh, okay.
Just like Tony and I both did.
Yeah, you really got super lucky when it comes to meeting people off the bat. Like, you've met some awesome people. Very, very talented people as well.
Oh yeah. Getting to start at Insomniac was a huge boost.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who started at studios where the games didn't ship.
Right.
Or where, like just really negative experiences where the game would end up terrible and it wasn't really anyone's fault, you know, or it would end, sort of like what Spyborgs was for me, but that wasn't my first project.
Yeah.
So it was a really hard project, but and Ratchet 1 was hard. It just wasn't hard for those reasons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky in that regard.
Apparently there's someone I haven't killed on here, and I don't know where they are. I think they're underneath the planet, somewhere.
If Insom hadn't wanted me as a tester, I had a possibility of an interview with Naughty Dog.
Oh, really?
So that might have been the alternate future.
Wow, the alternate future where I talked to you about Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, something like that. I think that's what they were working on at the time. They were probably working on Jak 2.
How did you discover me? Was it through Ratchet & Clank or was it Skylanders?
It was when you played Skylanders 1.
Okay. So
you were the one of the first people in the world to review the
yes, I
basically
was.
publicly.
That's why I
'Cause-
like to take credit for Skylanders doing well.
exactly right.
I like to
And
be that guy.
well, what happened was Battlefield 3 came out the same week, and so all the reviewers were spending time on that. And
Yeah.
apparently, the review code went out super late for that
Oh, did
game.
it?
Yeah, so nobody even looked at
That's the thing with all
Skylanders.
Skylanders, actually. I get it like 2 days before release. I'm like, I don't have time to make a huge profit. I can't
Well,
win here. Because it comes out in
I-
America like a week before it comes out UK, so I'm like, I can't win.
I don't know what's up with that, but
Yeah, it's a bit
hopefully
weird.
did they get you stuff on superchargers? I saw you did some playthroughs.
Yeah,
beforehand.
yeah, but I do get really lucky with getting it, but it's just always like the day before release because it comes out in the UK later, so it's just like or
And you
day
live-
before American release, I should say.
And you live on like the Swiss Family Robinson Island too.
Yeah, I live on a tiny island, which does take
Someone-
postage to get here later. So
Someone with a hat and a mailbag has to swim across the English Channel to get your mail. It's just not simple. That's all I'm saying.
it's a giant freight ship actually, but but yes, the principle is there. But yeah, so I guess if you did go to Naughty Dog, and maybe you would have went to Skylanders in the end. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Um,
They were both really different teams, so
mm,
I would have been studying a much different style of design.
yeah, that's very true actually. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
you
all-
probably wouldn't have went to something like Skylanders because of the GTA-esque feel of Jack. So
I mean, and if I'd stayed till Uncharted, right, most of my focus would have been on narrative stuff, whereas I have more of a focus on the mechanical stuff. So it's just interesting to think of how that would have gone. I did interview once at at Naughty Dog, but neither of us really wanted to go with it.
you also met Mary through Insomniac, so that would have been really weird as well.
No, I met her in college.
Oh, did you? Okay, I thought it was Insomniac.
We did
Fair
work
enough.
together in Insomniac, though.
Yeah, I thought you met her in Insomniac. Fair enough then.
She did community stuff, and she did front office stuff at Insom.
Mm.
We did
Okay.
get married while we were there, which was cool.
Mm. The final question from Random Gamer Rose. Can you tell us a rough date of Ratchet and Clank PS4? I don't think you know that. From all I can tell, I believe it's like April next year. I think the movie's April 29th. I assume the game will be very close to that release date. Probably
I think that's
the same day, actually.
I think that's what they've announced. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Again, it's been a long time since I've been on it, and when I was on it originally, it was going to come out earlier, right?
Yeah, it was going to come out this year.
So
like summer.
They've held it back and put a lot of work into both the movie and the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it things have changed a lot. So I wouldn't know that any different than what's been publicly announced. But I think you're right. I think they said April of next year.
Yeah, I mean, like, even though it's been delayed, like, I know there are people, like, complaining about that. Not necessarily with Ratchet. I know there was a lot of complaints with Persona 5, because that was delayed to summer next year. And I'm
Right.
really excited for Persona 5. I love Persona 4. But, like, the principle, like, as you've said, like, it's just adding more meat to the game. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
delay it, you're fixing glitches, you're adding more, you're making it better.
Both delays and cancellations are good news in a weird way, because it means that the project wasn't doing well, and either they decided not to ship it, which is good for the consumer who doesn't get a bad product, right? Or they said, okay, we think this has a lot of promise. We're going to give you however much more time to polish it out. That happened with Skylanders, actually. It was supposed to come out a year earlier.
Oh, really?
And if it had come out a year earlier, things could have been a lot different, right?
Yeah.
But we had that extra year to do things. Like, for example, we were able to store data on the toys. You know, like the your name and the toy's level and all that stuff gets stored in the toy, right? The expense of those parts a year earlier would have meant we couldn't do that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So
was it still Spyro's Kingdom at that point, or was it Skylanders?
It was Skylanders, and it would have only come out on the Wii.
Oh right,
So
okay.
the fact that we got an extra year meant more platforms,
Yeah.
better, all of the content got polished. The story had a lot of time to. I mean, they brought in Hollywood writers and like big animation studios
They
to
got
help
Hans
finish it.
Zimmer to get the music.
They really, really were. They had a lot of confidence in it. And when a
Mm.
game gets postponed like that, that means the publisher has a lot of confidence because they're willing to spend more money than they wanted to on that game.
Yeah,
So
like I can't remember the exact analogy you made. Like a game delay is
it's
like
like
a
it's
yeah
like a divorce. Yeah, it's always good news.
yeah like a temporary bad thing that's good news 100% of the time or something,
Yeah,
which is just
that's what it is. It's
that.
It's something that feels horrible, but it's good news 100% of the
Yeah,
time.
that is just the best thing I've ever heard. It's amazing.
Well, like Louis C.K. said, like nobody has ever gotten divorced who got along really well, right?
Yeah,
Like, and that would be a tragedy if two people who really loved each other got divorced, right? It's just never happened.
yeah,
So it's usually in the long term good news, just like a game postponement,
yeah.
and usually cancellations too.
Hmm.
Cancellation means the game wasn't good, and they weren't going to have enough time to make it good, so they just cut the losses basically.
Yeah.
And that meant that you didn't get a bad game.
Or it means the company has gone bust, and that's just super unfortunate.
That does happen sometimes, but it usually happens because of a game failure. It doesn't
Yeah.
usually happen before a game failure, you know?
Mm. Well, that's not always the case. There was like an Avengers first person game which has just recently surfaced that was being made to be like not a movie tie-in per se, but it was around the same releasing the same time as the movie. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, it looked like it was basically a first person game. It actually looked like had a lot of promise, and people like devs on it were really proud of what they had done, but they just like they ran out of time and money and stuff. I think the company went bust in the end, which is a shame.
Yeah. Well, I mean, running out of time and money, that's what happens when a project gets canceled.
Yeah,
It gets canceled because it ran out of time and money,
yeah.
or it gets canceled because they know it will run out of time and money, right?
Mm.
Like so like let's say it's early in the process and everything is terrible and you realize it will take a year longer to make it than you thought, and that means you won't be able to make your money back based on the numbers you've run, right? So
Right.
it's not worth making the game, so you cancel it. And then if you're lucky, you get another project, right? If you're a developer, like Insomniac, they were working on that girl with a stick game before Ratchet.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
I think they were calling it I5. It got canceled, right? Because it wasn't very good. And then Ratchet came out of it, right? So Insomniac didn't fold because Sony was like, "We want to work with you. We'll work with you either way, but we think you should try something closer to your strengths," right? So they did, and it worked out. So sometimes that happens, and then other times, maybe the developer doesn't have a very good relationship with their publisher, or something like that. Then the publisher doesn't want to give them another game, so they don't have any money and they fold. Stuff like that happens. But
Mm.
usually it has to do with not having enough money to make the game that you need to make to be successful.
Right.
And the games that do come out, it means that they stopped development when they were supposed to stop development and just had everybody get rid of the things that make it not possible to play.
Yeah.
Right. And then put it out to see if they could make any money back. And as far as I am concerned, that's a way worse thing to do than
Mm.
canceling a game, because you're essentially, it's bad and you're trying to sell it to people. It's just
Yeah.
not very honorable.
Mm.